Of course, I agree that homeless people should be put ahead of undocumented immigrants. I mean, that's just common sense. And so I'm still venting from my last video where I talked about someone who called me a racist because I shared a meme from my Facebook that said, you know, if you agree with America putting homeless veterans ahead of refugees. And of course, I'm homeless. Of course, I agree with that. Of course, I agree that homeless people should be put ahead of undocumented immigrants. I mean, that's just common sense. And I shared it, and I got immediately attacked for being racist. And I shot back. I said, I couldn't help myself. I try to ignore as much as I can, but, the person said, what I said was, if I'm expressing my opinion, if that makes me racist, so be it. That's essentially what I said. So then the person comes back with me. She's got to stay on that racist thing. That's the only defense that they have is racist. So she said, remember that joke that you said? I mean, this person knows me. Honestly, I don't know who the person is, but obviously, on Facebook, sometimes you don't know who you're talking to. But yeah, this person is, obviously knows me because she said, she swore we had a conversation where I made a racist comment about Puerto Ricans. So I'm like, if I did make a comment about Puerto Ricans, I know just what she's talking about if it's referring to the same comment that I've made a few times. My niece is Puerto Rican, and her father, my brother, when she was born, made some sort of a self-deprecating joke about more or less what society projects onto us, and the two derogatory words. So he was saying that she's a combination of those, and he was talking about his own. Just as we get together sometimes in the race and we can call each other different names, and that goes from any group of people. You can jokingly refer to each other, in the pejorative, and not insult each other. So I think that's what she's talking. I don't know exactly what it is because that's the only thing that I've ever said. Actually, I've got two Puerto Rican nieces, so I can't imagine. I love them dearly and wish the best for them, in education and everything. So that is so out of context and just so beyond the pale, just so low as Democrats often go when they have to find something to defend themselves with, and it always is, as I said, racism. Or some form of it. Racism, you are racist. Many words, though, that they can use. They like to throw out homophobia. They protect the gay agenda. So if you do anything slightly to offend them, you're homophobic. One word they don't know, and you're never going to hear them say is hobophobic, because that's what they are. And right now they're showing their, because no one's holding them to account. No one's holding them to account in California for all of the thousands of people that are experiencing homelessness, that are sleeping on the streets. They are afraid of people who are on the streets, even though they gave them permission to sleep there. They gave them permission to sleep there, but they didn't give them any way to have a way to extricate themselves from that situation. They always, they're given handouts, which is the worst thing you can do, just give handouts to someone without giving them a hand up. They don't even know what that means. So they're all on racist, and they can't say hobophobic. That is a real word. Hobophobia. I sell the street paper. I witness it every day. They pass by me, and this is a very liberal town. The Even the young people, because it's a college town, many of them will walk on the other side of the street, walk on the other side of the sidewalk, rather. They'll hasten their pace, all the typical signs of homophobia. And they would do it with black people, but they can't because the laws have changed, and they're still going to keep beating that dead horse that they're trying to defend racism. They're trying to defend people from racism, and they display racism all the time. Like I said in the previous video, you can't shop in some of the stores that they think are theirs. We're not in their neighborhoods, and downtown where those nice restaurants are, you rarely see black people down there, and you're looked at strangely if you do sit down there. They're like, okay, we accept you here. You don't have to accept people when you already know that they belong, but they still haven't become accustomed to dealing with blacks, and they still think it's they think they have to defend us for being black. They can't accept us as for who we are, but they're saying, we'll take care of you, we'll give you welfare, we will do everything that we need to help you as a black person. And then they do the same thing with people who are experiencing homelessness. We'll give you handouts. Even though you're sleeping on the streets, we'll let you stay there. You can't bathe or anything like that, but we will still give you handouts. They have a lot of pity, a lot of fake pity. They feel sorry for people all day, and when you feel sorry for people, you don't feel they're your equals either. So that's the liberal agenda. I'm having to deal with it because I am a conservative, a black conservative in a very liberal town. I'm also a homeless individual, a black homeless woman. Because I've sold the street paper, I've made no sort of pretense about who I am. And they expect me to be accepting of all of their handouts, and I'm very insulted by them. And I often let them know. I actually wrote an article in the paper that I voted for Trump shortly after the election. And yeah, I lost some customers. That was my livelihood. That paper, I have to sell that just to keep my space. I have to make enough every day. But I said, you know what? I'm not going to hide who I am. And I wrote an article that I voted for Trump. And I lost some customers. People would tell the other vendors, I'm not going to buy from that woman. They wrote articles to the paper, letters to the editor. How could you print that? I mean, forget about freedom of speech. And so now, once again, I'm engaged in one of those battles. And that's the way it goes these days when you exercise your right to freedom of speech. And especially if it's a conservative view in a very liberal town, you're going to get kickback. So that's what I'm going through now, but I'm still continuing on. I'm putting together a book of essays. I've written for this for 7 years, and many of my articles are conservative. And I'm going to put them together in a publication. To let people know that not every homeless person is looking for liberal handouts. So that's all I have to say for today, and I'm just going to try to ignore all the rest of it because I would be, arguing all day back and forth. But this is Let's Talk. I come on and try to enlighten people about the homeless crisis from a conservative perspective. And I hope you'll subscribe if you want to hear more. Subscribe and hit the bell so you'll know when I am coming on to talk again. Until then, peace.